Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Melody Llama Arts, and today you're going to listen to and hear what a mental breakdown sounds like. We're going to be talking about Spider-Man 2, Insomniac's incredibly awesome Spider-Man 2. Now, before I even start, this is going to be a criticism of the narrative of Spider-Man 2. I may dive into some of the gameplay aspects, but they will be very small. Mostly, this is about the narrative. As someone who is a writer and someone who is an artist, that is the part of it that matters to me the most. Don't get me wrong, gameplay is important to me as well, but if you have a narrative in a game, and one that has a lot of focus on it, it better be a good one. I don't mind if games don't have stories. In fact, a lot of the time I prefer games with no stories. Case in point, the Souls genre or something like that, or fighting games. But if you have a story, don't waste my time with said story, and Spider-Man 2 by Insomniac does just that. In fact, it is the most disappointing and infuriating game I've played, I think, ever. The reason I say that is because, well, for context, Spider-Man 4, or Spider-Man PS4, was an incredible title. I gave the game a 9 out of 10. I think the game was incredible. I thought the story was really, really good. It was an incredible Spider-Man story. The ending, for those of you who know, was very good. The final boss was very good. That game is astonishing. So when the second game was announced, there was already questions because we know that Sony's track record with sequels has not exactly been the best. I think that Sony has a problem making a sequel that's better than the first one lately. Like, the next Horizon is just the first one, but with a tiny bit more. God of War Ragnarok is the first one, but a little more. I think is just as good as the first one. It's not better. Ragnarok is kind of an exception. It is still a great game. But with Spider-Man, I kind of figured that, or at least I was excited, but I kind of saw the writing on the wall. Peter and Miles take center stage in this game, and when I say Peter and Miles, I mean Miles takes center stage, and Peter's a pussy. Let me relax. I'm going to start off with the good stuff, okay? Kraven's theme is cool. It definitely gives off a threatening vibe when he's around and that song plays. It's a good song. The next thing I like is Mr. Negative in this game and his role. Obviously, spoiler alert ahead for Spider-Man 2. But Mr. Negative, I like him in this game and his relationship with Miles because, as you guys remember, Mr. Negative is the one that killed Miles' father. And I think those are about all the good things in the game. Now, I know I wasn't going to talk about gameplay, but I'm just going to get this out of the way. This story is extremely repetitive, and it reflects in gameplay as well. The amount of times that we have a run-in or encounter with Kraven's men is absolutely ridiculous. The amount of times that Peter just has to fight hordes of Kraven soldiers drives me mad in this game. It really does. It just pisses me off. I hated it. After about the 80th encounter, I'm like, there's no way we're just going to keep fighting Kraven soldiers. And then I find out that I'm like halfway through the game, and I still have 80,000 more Kraven soldiers to beat up. It's repetitive. Now that we got that out the way, let's talk about the actual narrative here. The way we're going to talk about it, the way we're going to structure this, is not by acts. We're going to structure this by characters. And of course, only the major ones. So we're going to start with Peter, move on to Miles, then MJ, then Harry Osborn, then Kraven, and then Venom. With each character, I will start with the positives, and those segments are going to be really short. So let's start with Peter. The anti-Venom suit. I thought it was cool. I thought that it made sense also gameplay-wise because they didn't want to take away abilities, but they needed the black suit gone. So they give you the anti-Venom suit, and it looks really cool. That's it. Now let's talk about the negatives. One of the things I was immediately interested in when Spider-Man PS4 ended was how Peter was going to deal with Aunt May. How does he do that? He doesn't. Aunt May hardly comes up. Him dealing with Aunt May's death never comes up. It pretty much is a non-factor in this story. And I don't know why. It was the biggest moment in Spider-Man PS4, and in Spider-Man PS5, it's pretty much non-existent. But whatever, we moved on from it, I guess. But where the issue truly comes is in Peter's characterization and his strength in this game. Peter does not get a single victory on his own in this entire game. And no, I'm not talking about the black suit. I'm just talking Spider-Man. Spider-Man can't get a win to save his life. In this entire game, he's getting his cheeks clapped. He is getting dragged through the mud in this entire game. And it's so annoying. And his personality is much worse. He is such a kiss-ass in this game. And a pussy. This dude is just glazing Miles the entire game. He's kissing MJ's ass. MJ will... There's this scene I remember. This goes with the Black Suit storyline because it is one of the worst storylines I've ever seen. So, it's so hard to even start anywhere. With Spider-Man 3, the movie, okay? The Black Suit Spider-Man kind of enhances Peter's already dormant emotions. But in this game, it just makes him kind of violent. It just makes him moody a little bit. But the story will have you think that Peter murdered MJ's entire family and, I don't know, fucked her long-lost sister or something. He doesn't do anything evil in this game. Yet everyone in the cast treats him like he's this monster. One of the funniest moments is when he fights Lizard. And the news is like, well, he obliterated the Lizard. It was violent. Who gives a shit if it was violent? It's a big-ass lizard. Everyone's worried that the city was damaged from it. How the fuck was Spider-Man supposed to handle that situation without, one, making it violent, and without, two, hurting the city? Even if he didn't have the black suit, he couldn't have done that shit. In fact, if anything, if he didn't have the black suit, he'd probably be dead, and then Lizard would destroy the rest of the city. Am I crazy here? Yet, when MJ writes a paper about it, oh my god, this was insanity. MJ writes a paper bashing her own partner about the Lizard situation, and yet I'm supposed to believe that he's the asshole. Fuck MJ! We then get to the hilarious scene where Peter gets back home, and this is after he fought the Lizard, mind you, and MJ hands him like a laptop with the, you know, the paper she's writing. And he doesn't want to read it. So he like says, get it out my face. He doesn't even say it that mean. He's like, nah, I don't want to read that shit. And then goes to bed. And the black suit's there like comforting him. But the way the scene plays out, MJ's just like, oh my god, what is the black suit doing to him? Bitch, I just got done fighting the fucking Lizard. And it's like fucking 10 p.m. You think I want to get home and read your bullshit paper? Bitch, I'll read it tomorrow. Okay? This ain't rude. This ain't evil. He fought the Lizard. Okay? He's tired. He just don't want to read right now. And it's a long-ass paper. You know MJ writing like 16 paragraphs worth of shit. She ain't writing no small paper. So you know she writing that long-ass paper, and Peter ain't trying to read that shit. Imagine coming out of a 12-hour shift, and your girl comes up to you and says, hey, babe, I need you to read my 12 fucking page, or 12 page, yeah, my 15-page novel real quick, but you're gassed. You're near death. Because this ain't even a 12-hour shift. This is literally him getting his ass beat by the Lizard. And I'm supposed to believe, man, this Peter Parker, man, he's evil. When MJ is turned into Scream, dude, I couldn't handle it anymore. The way Peter is, like, apologizing and, like, crying because he's so terrible. I'm sorry. What did Peter do wrong in this entire game? Everyone's treating him like a monster. Yeah, he's a little more angry than usual. It's not like in Spider-Man 3 where he at least like backhanded MJ and you're like, oh my god, what an asshole. The black suit's really fucking him over. In this game, nope, none of that. None of that happens. Peter's pretty chill for the most part. He's just moody. The whole thing is just so rushed too. Like all of it is so rushed. The black suit doesn't last nearly as long as you think it will. And by the end, I just didn't even care. I really did not care. Which takes us to Miles Morales. Again, like I said before, the positives are pretty much everything regarding Mr. Negative. The negatives, Christ. Let's get the two small things out of the way. Number one, the love interest. This whole thing had me snoozing. Ain't nobody trying to see that. Get that out of my face. And then that trash ass suit that he pulls up with at the end. I know for a fact he didn't just put Miles in that weak ass suit. Just disrespecting the poor guy. We're not rocking with that. But the big problem with Miles for me in this game is that he never really wants to kill Mr. Negative. You know, he may think about it a little bit, but by the beginning of the game already, when he tries to save him, when the boat is drowning and shit, he's already kind of made up his mind that he's not going to kill him. So my question is, what the fuck exactly is the struggle of Miles in this game? What's his arc? He already completes his arc by the beginning of the game. You know, it's not like he wants to kill Mr. Negative and he has to find forgiveness or find the desire to spare him. It doesn't really matter because he already decided that at the start of the game. He never really seriously considers killing Lee. So it doesn't really matter. I didn't really care about Miles at the end of the day when he meets him in the arena, which is a problem in and of itself, which is just the sheer coincidence of Miles being brought there to fight Mr. Negative. I don't even know why any of that happened. I don't even. Why don't you just kill Miles or fight him yourself? Aren't you trying to find a worthy challenger? But whatever. He takes him to the arena. I'm talking about Kraven here. He takes him to the arena to face Mr. Negative. And crazy coincidence that Kraven will put him up against the guy that killed his father. I don't even think he knew that information. Yet here we are in this ridiculous battle, which means nothing because Miles has already made up his mind. He's not going to kill Lee. So there's no suspense. There's nothing for Miles to grow with. Miles has zero arc in this game. Speaking of bitches with no struggle, we got MJ. MJ, this entire game, is just boo-hoo me. I gotta work on a paper. Nobody depends on me. Shut the fuck up. This is an MJ who supposedly has been with Peter for years, okay? Peter's a vet in this franchise. Yet MJ is still bitching about Peter, thinking that she can't handle this herself, this, that, and the third. Dude, you are not a superhero, okay? Plain and simple. Yes, you can handle yourself, because in situations, if Peter had the run of the fade with, I don't know, the Kingpin, he could actually pull it off. MJ, you can't. That's what he means. He just wants her safe. He just wants her to stay out of the way. Yet, for some reason, all of this is basically saying that Peter is an abusive asshole and thinks that MJ can't do anything worth a shit and that she should kill herself. That's how the game treats it. I don't even know what to say here. And yes, you can't fool me. The segments of MJ are still ass. They still suck ass. Okay? Yes, now I can do takedowns. I don't care. They were still boring as all hell. Stop having me play as MJ. I'm begging. Now, before we move on to Harry Osborn, let's just talk about the designs because they're all god-awful, okay? The three main characters we just talked about look ugly as shit, okay? Peter, I will never ever forgive them for changing the original Peter Parker face model. The new one looks fucking terrible, okay? He looks like Stuart Little, alright? No one is finding this guy threatening, and I guess it makes sense considering Peter's such a... I don't know, he's such a coward in this game. He's such a loser. Miles, I'm not even going to get into it, but you know that cut is trash. And MJ, I mean, she just looks awful, okay? I know. But I much prefer the old design for both Peter and MJ. Now they look fine. They look cracked and toasted. I don't want to be anywhere near these ghouls. Which takes us to Harry Osborn. Ooh, he was the new guy, the important character. We got to see some of his backstory, which I appreciated, like his background with Peter. And Agent Venom is cool as well. That I was not anticipating Agent Venom being in this game, so when he showed up, that was pretty cool. Those are the positives. Harry, of course, is rushed, and more importantly, he just has no agency in this game. You know, he's trying to live, but by the time we get to the final act, it's not Harry. It's literally just Venom controlling Harry. Harry really has no reason to be evil. He has no reason to be doing all this. So by the end of it, it's not like Harry is the villain, really. He's just pretty much mind controlled. And that's boring. Like said before, I like that Venom is just amplifying the emotions you have already. In this game, not really. Harry didn't have any of these emotions, and Venom just straight up turns him into a monster. A murderous monster that's going to take over the entire city. That's just boring as shit, so Harry doesn't even feel like he's part of the final act by the time we get there. You're not fighting Harry and Venom. There is no fucking we there. You're just fighting Venom. The fun part of Eddie Brock, and I keep using Spider-Man 3, but I'm going to keep doing it, Eddie Brock is because Eddie was an asshole. Okay, Eddie, he liked being Venom. You know, and Venom was just this monster. I was glad to have someone that would kill Peter because Peter rejected him. But in this game, none of that is really there. Venom and Harry are extremely uninteresting. We'll get to Venom, but yeah, you know. And this next part is kind of unfair. I will say that, but he's just not James Franco's Harry, and he's very boring personality-wise. I don't know. He's not all that interesting. He's very snooze-worthy. And why did he live at the end of this game? We're gonna move on to Kraven. Kraven gets 2 positive things. Round of applause for Kraven. He has the scene where he kills Scorpion. I like that a lot. And then, you know, if you play the side quest, you'll find out that Kraven wants to die, or he is dying and wants to have someone kill him because he doesn't want to die to just like a disease. So that's pretty interesting. I like that. Unfortunately, if you didn't play the side quest and you fight Kraven, Pete is a fucking psychic and is able to talk to Kraven about why he wants to die, and like the game thinks that you did the side quest. No, I didn't do the side quest. I did the main story first. So when Spider-Man is talking about, oh, Kraven, you just want to find a worthy challenger before you die, I'm sitting there like, how the fuck does Pete know that? Because I didn't know it. And then Pete reveals this to me. So I'm like, okay, I guess Kraven is dying. Which I find absolutely asinine, because Kraven is in the game for so long. He's there forever. We're fighting Kraven soldiers for like, I don't even know, 10 hours. You'd think they'd fit all of that in the main story and not a side quest, but here we are. Kraven has so many scenes in the game, and yet none of it amounts to anything in the main story. None of his scenes really add anything to the story. And the final thing isn't necessarily a Kraven problem, but sorry, excuse me. When Kraven takes Peter to the church and he has the black suit on and he fights him and he hits the bell, the convenience there is just out of this world. Kraven had no idea that the symbiote's weakness was sound. So he conveniently takes Peter to a church, the one place where there's a big ass bell, and then he luckily rings it. And that's how he finds out. Alright. Sure thing, Kraven. And well, with Venom, I will say this about Spider-Man 2. That scene where you play as Venom for the first time, the Venom level, it was one of the most incredible experiences I've ever had in a game ever, and I hate that it came from this game, because I was not ready to play as Venom. I'm a huge Venom fan, and being able to play as this guy was unreal. With that being said, his character sucks. He's rushed as hell. And I don't even know, it's whatever. The final act is very rushed. I did like exploring in said final act, because it reminded me of a way better game called Web of Shadows. If you guys played that, you know what I'm talking about. It's got a way better story too. This is some dog shit in comparison to that, and it pretty much just kind of copied Web of Shadows in the final act, but way less good. The reason why this game also is just super annoying in the final act is when you're fighting symbiotes running around, nobody in the vicinity runs away. Like, there are just cars passing by, you know, there's symbiotes attacking, and the civilians, they don't give a fuck. Way to immerse myself in this symbiote-controlled city. Oh, but I'm not done yet. There's still a lot of things we're gonna talk about. Number 1, the Tombstone Redemption arc. What? This guy's like a criminal. This guy was sent to jail, and how much time did he get anyways? 4 months? He is sitting there like, well, Tombstone is reformed. Bitch, you sent him to jail like not even that long ago. To my knowledge, the time between these two games ain't that long. Tombstone must have fucking Saul Goodman and his lawyer to get out of there so soon. But they're trying to push this fucking redemption storyline, I guess, but doesn't work with Tombstone. Should have been a villain that we didn't see in Spider-Man 1 so that we believe that there was a lot of time between them being beaten and them being released and reforming, but I guess not. Another thing with Black Suit Spider-Man, we're going to talk about Black Cat because I don't even know why she's in this game. Where's my delicious Black Cat, Black Suit Spider-Man action, okay? If you're going to rip off Web of Shadows, then rip off a lot in Web of Shadows. There's a lot of good in Web of Shadows, and Black Cat and Black Suit Spider-Man, they go well together. We don't get any of that interaction in this game. They're in the same game, but they don't interact once. In fact, Black Cat doesn't even interact once with Peter in this entire game. And that Black Cat level is so cringe. Why on earth is there a sling ring in this game? And stop with the Wong joke. It's not funny. Okay, you've done the Wong joke so many times. It's not funny. Please, oh my god, that level is one of the cringiest levels I've ever played in gaming history. And the final three things we're going to talk about is, number one, Venom just decides to do shit that doesn't make sense. Okay, Venom is a monster. He's not supposed to, like, you know, if he's not really controlling anybody because he's not, like, one with Harry. You know, it's not like Harry is really a character. He's kind of just, you know, Venom is basically a parasite just controlling Harry's body. So Venom would just want to kill everything. But when he has Spider-Man fight Scream, why don't you just jump him? Right? Like, why don't you just kill him? No? You're just gonna leave? Okay. Alright. Whatever you want to do. Speaking of some straight dog water, that segment when you have to play as MJ and Black Suit Spider-Man is like running around killing people was the funniest segment I think I've played in a video game ever. Black Suit Spider-Man is coming up and down and he's like showing up killing people and running away and you have to hide as MJ and shit. Yet the soldiers are like, oh my god, what was that? Yet they don't go and check it out. They don't even run around. They're just like, oh my fucking god, it's Black Suit Spider-Man, he's killing all our men. And then they turn around and continue to act as NPCs to try to catch MJ. Dude, that scene had me crying. It's so terrible. And then the final thing we're going to talk about is the ending to this game because it's not good either. Harry Osborn is like angry at the end of the game. Why are you angry? What are you mad about? Why are you working with Otto? What? We beat Harry and we didn't even kill the fool. We gave you him back. Alright? Yet you're this angry? Bitch, what the fuck did you want us to do? That's why Harry should have died, because at least then, you know, Norman would be like, whoa, he killed my son. He didn't even kill him! But, again, what do I know? And then Peter retires for some reason. Yeah, why? To do what? Are you out of your mind? Peter would never retire and let Miles handle shit. But then again, he's so ass and got his ass whooped so many times, he's probably like, I ain't built for this anymore. At the end of the day, I thought the story was poorly told, poorly written, poorly paced, and way too safe of a story. This game was easily the most disappointing game I've ever played, considering the fact that I adored Spider-Man PS4. But here we are. I know it was a long rant, I know that it was a passionate rant, but there you guys have it. Check out my other videos for more positive outlooks on me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe, the usual stuff. But I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm out.